Took some doing, but I finally made a white dwarf star. Made mine in my basement, because basements are the perfect place to compress time and space. Slammed together some high-frequency energy waves and perfect miniature white dwarf. Even though it was very small for its type, it was extremely dense and incredibly bright. The density, admittedly, was a problem. The star was dense enough that it drew small objects towards it. Tissue paper, curtains, tail of my cat. Of course, they all burst into flames. It wobbled this way and that, wandering the basement, knocking against the walls, the floor, the ceiling, leaving burn marks everywhere. The last straw was when it set fire to my favorite Einstein poster. You know, the one with his tongue sticking out, his messed up hair, and goofy grin. I trapped the star in a box, put a padlock on the heavy lid. Stars are not meant to be kept in boxes. Since the early days of our species, mankind has been obsessed and intrigued by the possibility of a higher power. People have dreamed and imagined and claimed to prophesy in the name of their god. And who knows, maybe some of them knew something. From the ancient gods of the Aztecs and the Mayans, to the Romans and the Greeks, to modern-day Christianity and Islam, people have always believed in beings of deity and wondered. Moonless, by Brian Hurt, raising the ever-enduring question, what is the true nature of a god? At night, I could hear it bumping, thumping against the walls of its prison. The only solution was to make another one. A second white dwarf that matched the first one exactly, set both of them to stable gravity. It was a simple and elegant solution, as most solutions from nature are. So I went to the art store and I bought some black poster board, which I glued together and strung with Christmas lights. I called the finished product the universe, even though it was more like a diorama of. Still, I felt the display added some dignity to the scene. My white dwarfs floating there in front of all that blackness, holiday lights shining behind. My cat liked it too. He rubbed his cheeks against the sharp corners of the universe and purred. Exactly when it happened, I don't know. Soon little globes of matter began forming around my stars. The globes were made of drops of water from the glass I'd spilled, Einstein ashes, and fur that the stars pulled from the back of my cat to let to nap underneath them. There were two globes, more like tiny planets really, each one orbiting its own star. Put my elbows on the table and squinted at them from behind my welder's mask. One planet was slightly larger than the other, had its own miniature moon, so I named it after the moony ex-girlfriend who liked to stare at the night sky and wonder why our love wasn't as dark and infinite. The other one had no moon, so I called it Moonless. The next time I checked on my cardboard universe, even more had changed. There was a tiny flag planted on the tiny moon. Microscopic satellites orbited the planet, and miniature airplanes flew to miniature cities. Each city swarmed with tiny cars with subatomic red-faced drivers inside. Moonless was doing even better, become even more advanced. There were hover cars, biodomes, black glass buildings that swooped and curved as if they'd been painted into existence. The top of its tallest mountain was an enormous telescope that was pointing directly up at its neighbor. Operating the telescope was a tiny scientist in a tiny white lab coat, her hair twisted into a tiny but perfect black knot. But I was not in the right mood to appreciate the wonders of my universe. I could not force myself to feel the requisite joy or awe or whatever I should have felt at that particular moment in time. I had just returned home from the laboratory and been a not so great day. I could not muster the enthusiasm to celebrate the triumph of my little people, the impossibility of my tiny dwarves. What I felt instead, primarily, was annoyed. Because take, for example, the planet named after the moony ex-girlfriend. Here's a brand new world, infinite potential, unlimited possibilities, and it was basically just a smaller version of this one. Same cars, same space junk, same flag on the moon. Pretty much all the same crap played out on an even smaller, more insignificant scale. Pathetic, really. Boring. It's like the girlfriend I named the planet after. So I flicked the moony planet, the universe's backdrop, watched it explode against the cardboard and Christmas lights. The explosion was so small that it barely even registers a blip. The tiny scientist on Moonless saw it too. She blinked into her viewfinder, pushed her glasses up the bridge of her nose, turned a telescope in a full half circle until it was pointing directly up at me. She scribbled something in her tiny notebook, her tiny hand trembling. I didn't go back into the basement for a while after that. When I did return, I saw that the tiny scientist had built a gigantic ray gun. She was taking pot shots at my Christmas lights. I told her to knock it off. She zapped another one. Or what, she said? You gonna destroy this planet too? Maybe I was. But I was not a destroyer of worlds. Not really. I told the tiny scientist that I was sorry about the planet, but either I was going to destroy it, or I was going to be destroyed by something else. That's how it worked. That was science. That was the natural order of things. She said that I was a coward, and her husband had been on that expedition. I killed him. I'm sorry, I said. I guess I was. Well, what do you want from me? I can't fix everything. I'm not a god. Even then, I think we both knew that wasn't true. Not entirely. For after the tiny scientist grew old and died, and her children died, and her planet sun died, and everyone died, I continued making new stars. I continued to flick away the inferior, disappointing ones. Sometimes there were other tiny scientists, very powerful telescopes, who would look up and out at me. When they saw me there was always questions about who I was and what I wanted. Was I good or malevolent? Omnipotent or indifferent? A god of death? I was just a man, I'd say to them, just as I told the original scientist. Like the original scientist, the more they studied me, the more they watched, the more they became unconvinced. Not because I had power over life and death, destruction and creation, but because there was only one of me. The god of my own isolation, my own unhappiness. A man with a cat in a basement. And what is a god, if not alone?